Gaza News Now. In order to prevent Iran from attacking Israel, NATO used overwhelming firepower. According to the head of the Islamic Revolution Guard Corps, IRGC, Quds Force, the Western NATO alliance countered Iran's missile and drone attack on the Israeli regime with all of its might. Speaking at a ceremony commemorating the 40-day martyrdom anniversary of Mohammad Hadi Haj Rahimi, a senior Iranian military commander who was among those killed in an Israeli attack on Iran's diplomatic premises in Syria on April 1, Brigadier General Esmail Qaani made the remarks. To retaliate against the Israeli regime for its aggressive actions, the Iranian armed forces initiated a groundbreaking operation on April 13 using 300 drones and missiles, codenamed True Promise. According to Qaani, there were 7 or 8 groups of warships stationed in the Black Sea to foil the operation, and over 200 planes were visible above the area from the start of the operation until its conclusion. The resistance front is bigger than the Zionist regime, the U.S., and the West, the commander declared, commending the resilience of the Palestinian resistance fighters despite Israel's occupation of Gaza. Campus riots and demonstrations against Israel seem to emerge from thin air. In addition to a profound anti-Israel sentiment, there was a strong anti-American, anti-Western, and anti-capitalist current. However, the untold narrative of a network of NGOs that organize and finance these protest actions deserves more attention. It was not a naturally occurring sprout. A well-planned and financed effort is at work here. We have spent over 10 years here at the Legal Insurrection Foundation explaining and debunking the roots of this evil movement. We discussed the sources of funding for these tentafadas and student protests in this live event. Attendees were delighted to hear from Ed Herzberg, who serves as the legal advisor for NGO Monitor. Well, you guessed it, NGO Monitor digs deep into NGOs. Throughout the years, we have referenced their work multiple times. Protests against Israel and the sources of their funding have been the subject of much reporting by NGO Monitor. Below the video, you'll see transcript snippets that the two speakers choose. On October 8, on campus, students were genuinely celebrating what had happened on October 7, and professors were celebrating and finding reasons for it. I'll just provide a little background of how I think we arrived at this point in time. The tent cities, which have sprung up and seem to be falling down everywhere save Cornell, are also well known at this point. Cornell University still has it. Since I was a student at Harvard Law School in the 1980s, when a movement that is now pretty widespread was taking shape, I shall begin at the beginning. As a result, I earned my law degree in 1984. Interestingly, many prominent figures in the anti-Israel movement had their start at Harvard Law School in the 1980s. The events I witnessed there are currently unfolding. Now tell me, what was that? Racialization of the conflict, its shape, and the targeting of Israel, in different terminology, but essentially, students of color versus white Israel, were the first things I noticed.